Hello everyone, today I'm ranking every year of LEGO Star Wars The Clone Wars. This LEGO theme has been a fan favorite ever since it debuted in 2008, bringing iconic moments and characters from the Clone Wars animated series to LEGO. It's one of the most endearing themes in LEGO Star Wars history, and today I'll rank each year from worst to best. However, since we are in the middle of 2025, I'll leave it out of the ranking. Instead, we'll focus on the years that are fully behind us. To make these rankings, I've considered each year's standout and most defining sets. While I won't go into every single set in exhaustive detail, I've taken the full lineup into account, so even the smaller or less talked about sets have played a role in these rankings. Now, with all that said, let's get into it. Starting at the bottom, number 17 and 16, I've tied as 2016 and 2019. Now, the reason these are tied is because there are no sets released in either of these years. This seems so strange, especially now, when Clone Wars content and related sets are so high in demand. To think we had entire years without even a single release feels like a huge missed opportunity. It's wild to think LEGO didn't even try to keep the theme alive during these years. Considering how popular clones are today, it almost feels like a crime. Moving on though, number 15 is taken by the year 2015. And this year just saw only one Clone Wars set released. That was the Senate Commandos Battle Pack. Now, I'll be honest, I actually like this Battle Pack quite a bit. The minifigures are unique, and Senate Commandos don't appear too often in LEGO form. I believe this was actually their last appearance. That said, this is all we got for the year, which is pretty weak. Even as a fan of the set, it doesn't make up for a whole year of no Clone Wars sets. One thing I will know is that 2015 was also the year The Force Awakens came out, and it's clear LEGO shifted their priority to that movie and its sets rather than the Clone Wars. It's understandable, but still disappointing. Number 14 is claimed by the year 2017. This year wasn't much better, with only two small Clone Wars sets released. The first being Yoda's Starfighter, kind of a niche set that doesn't bring a whole lot to the table. It's a neat concept, I'll give them that, but the execution felt a bit lackluster. Its partner for the year though was the Republic Fighter Tank, a nice little set with a decent build and good minifigures. The design is one of the most accurate tanks to in-universe, and the minifigures elevate it to a pretty solid pickup. However, these two sets weren't enough to carry the year. It felt like LEGO wasn't trying very hard, and unfortunately, it really shows. Number 13 is taken by the year 2018, which is another year that only gave us two sets also. Anakin's Jedi Starfighter is the first one, and it's a fairly weak design. It has this odd bump on the center cockpit that just doesn't work, though I do appreciate the idea behind this set. The second is General Grievous's Speeder. The build is okay, but the real highlight here are the minifigures. Grievous does very well and looks as good here as he ever has, and Mace Windu is also included, looking pretty snazzy himself. Despite the strong minifigures, the low quality, and somewhat average builds made 2018 a forgettable year for Clone Wars fans. 12th on the list is 2022. The only Clone Wars set this year was the Republic Fighter Tank. This set is often remembered a lot more fondly than it should be. When you break it down, this set is not that great. Specifically the build. It's very rough, it's blocky, oversimplified, and lacks interior detail. It looks decent from a distance, but up close, its flaws become more obvious. The minifigures, however, are some of the best ever. The 187th Legion clones, with their unique purple design, are absolutely stunning. The airborne variation is a top tier clone as well, maybe one of the best ever. And Mace Windu's arm printed figure is his best yet too. Overall, this set's minifigures carry 2022. It's not a year you'd call great, but the figures made it more memorable than it has any right to be. Number 11 is taken by 2024. This year also saw only one set, being the Clone vs. Droids Battle Pack. For what this set offers, it's absolutely incredible. 9 minifigures for just $30 is almost unheard of. That is such a great deal and something that automatically catches your attention when you look at the set. On top of that though, there are several builds included like a Staff Speeder, Tri-Droid, Clone Speeder, and a turret. All of them are fun and well executed. And even though this is the only set of the year, it feels like a complete package. This set represents the Clone Wars in one box for $30. And for its price point and its quality, it's one of the best battle packs ever, making this year pretty good and memorable despite only having one set. 10th is the year 2021. This year brought us two final season Mandalore sets, with the smaller one being the Duel on Mandalore, a small but fun set that recreates a key moment from the show, Ahsoka and Maul's duel. The minifigures included are those two, and they are absolutely fantastic. Then the larger set from the year is the Mandalorian Starfighter. This set has some great figures and a design that pairs very nicely with the dual set. This year has some great cohesion and some great sets. I love that these sets were based directly on the Clone Wars and not just generic Clone Wars themed sets. They felt true to the show, which is always a win in my book. Ninth on this list is the year 2020. This year saw two releases, an AT-AT, and while this build isn't perfect, the inclusion of the 332nd Trooper was a highlight in what most people remember. However, the second set of the year is an absolute defining set. The long-awaited 501st Legion Trooper set. This souped-up battle pack finally gave fans what they wanted. It became a massive success with great figures and solid builds. Even if the price feels pushed up to $30, it was a great set. 2020 was a good year overall with some exceptional moments despite a limited lineup. Number 8 on this list is 2023. This was a busier year with multiple clone releases. The big one from this year was the Coruscant Guard gunship, a very neat variant with great characters. I love how this build feels a little more off the wall. The entire set feels more like a classic Clone Wars set, including a rare ship with some minifigures we don't see too often. I really like the vibe of this one, and it turned out to be the best of the year. Following that set, we have the 332nd Battle Pack, which was nice, but it felt like it came too late to make a big impact. There was another Battle Pack release this year, the 501st Battle Pack. This was a niche set with some specialized troopers, but it was very well executed. One of my favorites for that reason. Then finally for the year you have Yoda's Jedi Starfighter. It's a boring remake of a recent set, not bad, but nothing notable. This year showed that quantity doesn't always equal quality. While there were some good moments, not every set hit the mark. As opposed to number 7, the year 2014. This year gave us two standout sets, but that's all we needed. The first one being the AV7 Cannon, a visually striking build that's very fun to display. Accompanied by some really great minifigures as well, including Wolfpack Troopers and Plo Koon. Then the second set of the year was the Coruscant Police Gunship, a unique niche set with perfect minifigures for its scene. Both sets were extremely well executed and their compelling designs made up for the low quantity. Number 6 is the year 2010. This year had a mix of hits and misses. The standout was the Turbo Tank, one of the better builds with some great minifigures including Cad Bane. This vehicle is always one that grabs your attention, and this is one of their best builds of it in LEGO. There were still other sets released this year though that can catch your eye. Stuff like the Tri-Droid and Plo Koon Starfighter added some variety and were very nice. Of course there was others, but nothing else too notable. While this year wasn't too extravagant and doesn't have much to talk about, it was a decent year with a solid lineup overall. Cracking the top 5, we have 2012. This was a middle-of-the-road year with 6 Clone Wars sets, and while there weren't any standout masterpieces, it offered a solid lineup. The Mandalorian fighter had a sleek design and perfectly captured the look from the show, while giving us some nice minifigures as well. Then you have the Geonosian Cannon, a simple but effective set with fun minifigures. Great for recreating battles at that iconic location. The Elite Clone Trooper and Commando Droid Battle Pack was also released this year, and while the minifigures are classic, the set itself I don't think holds up that well. The build missed the mark, and I think the only reason this set is memorable is because of the ARC Trooper. That said, it is a really great figure though. Finally though, the only set I can say is a major highlight is the Malevolence. This set was beautifully designed with a full interior, an accurate exterior, and a fantastic lineup of main characters. It was a great representation of the ship from the early season of the show, but it's often overlooked. I'm not sure as to why either. It's a great set, great build, very big, and the only Separatist capital ship to ever see LEGO shelves. However, somehow it's just fallen through the sands of time and isn't one that's talked about much, if at all. Overall though, 2012 was a very good year of sets that just weren't quite legendary. While it didn't have the sheer wow factor of other years, it provided plenty of Clone Wars fun. Number 4 is the year 2011. This was a big year for Clone Wars fans with lots of variety and creativity. LEGO leaned into sets that directly tied into the show, keeping things fresh and exciting. The first example being the Republic Frigate, a classic Clone Wars design with excellent minifigures and great play features. Then the Mandalorian Battle Pack, which is pulled directly from the show. A fun, smaller set that brought us Mandalorian soldiers and a great army building opportunity. One of my favorites from the year, Mace Windu's Jedi Starfighter, which was a very unique and memorable set that stands out even years later, for its multiple builds and exclusive minifigures. Finally, though, you have gems like the Bounty Hunter Assault Gunship, a different and unexpected choice coming directly from the show's more niche content. However, I am a sucker for these kind of sets. I can picture the episode it's from exactly, and even though it's not a clone set, I still love it. This year felt quite full with unique minifigures and creative set designs. While it didn't have any ultra legendary sets, the lineup's variety make it a pretty memorable year. Third on this list is 2013. Only 6 sets were released this year, but their quality was absolutely outstanding. Every set in this year felt special and impactful. Starting off with the Z95 Headhunter, a sleek and powerful design that has excellent minifigures, including Pon Krell and some 501st Troopers. Another memorable set is the Bark Speeder with Sidecar, featuring the infamous Phase 2 Captain Rex. This set was a must-have for fans, because of nothing else except the one figure. Not to degrade the set in any way though, as it was still pretty fun. Then one of my all-time favorites, the Umbaran Mobile Heavy Cannon. The design is so creative and fantastic. It pairs perfectly with the Umbaran Arc from the show. The set's so different and fun that I just absolutely adore it. Then you have the Mandalorian Speeder, which is a visually striking set with great characters including Darth Maul and his Darth Maul Mandalorians. Then finally, the last 2 builds of the year are the ATRT, which is a fun smaller set, and then you also have the Starhopper, which was the weakest of the year but still an interesting and unique addition. What makes 2013 stand out is its consistency. Every set was well executed and the wave felt complete, with no major duds dragging it down. The runner-up is 2008. The first year of LEGO Star Wars The Clone Wars is still one of the best. This year introduced fans to a whole new era of LEGO Star Wars with a full wave of diverse and exciting sets. The first 2 I have to talk about are the Republic Gunship and ATT. 2 very iconic builds that remain staples of LEGO Star Wars. These sets were not only incredibly well designed, but they also captured the essence of the Clone Wars. With these 2 vehicles, you have a great army to go against the Separatists, as well as all the main characters from the show. Easily the 2 best from the year. That's not to say though the others aren't memorable. You have other sets like the V-19 and Twilight, which are very unique ships that brought variety to the lineup, especially considering these were 2 new designs for the series. Then you have other little sets like the Republic Fighter Tank and Spider Droid, which were just a great addition to the Clone Wars vehicles and army. This full wave included many other sets, each contributing to a strong and memorable first year. 2008's lineup was massive, full of original and iconic sets that helped define the LEGO Clone Wars. It's no surprise this year ranks so high. Finally, we made it to the top spot, which is taken by 2009. This year took the foundation laid by 2008 and improved on it in almost every way imaginable. With just as many sets and even higher quality, this year feels like the pinnacle of LEGO Clone Wars. You have the AAT, a solid, well-designed vehicle for the Separatists, the Republic Attack Shuttle, which is such a cool ship. I love the colors and design. This set feels directly pulled from the show and has quality that's unmatched by many other ships. There are still more I could go on about like that, but I have to get to the heavy hitters from the year. The first one being the Clone Walker Battle Pack, a fan favorite and a classic for army builders. One of the first of its kind and a big one that sparked the initial interest in army building. Then you have the Venator class Republic Attack Cruiser, one of the most iconic ships in all of Star Wars, and it was beautifully recreated in LEGO form in this playset. Of all these though, there's one that stands out, and that is the Republic Dropship with ATOT, the crown jewel of the year and maybe the entire Clone Wars. This set is legendary for its innovative design, its awesome playability, and sheer scale. It represents all of what the Clone Wars is about, with a huge army included, and your ability to drop them off and send them into battle. It is the pinnacle Clone Wars set. And what makes 2009 so special is how tailored it felt to Clone Wars fans. Most of these sets mentioned weren't just general Star Wars builds, they were deeply tied to the series, and every release felt meaningful. It's hard not to look at this lineup and crown it the best year for LEGO Star Wars The Clone Wars. So that's my ranking for every year of LEGO Star Wars The Clone Wars, from 2008 to 2024. Do you agree with my list? Let me know in the comments below. What's your favorite year? For me, 2009 is a hard lock at number 1. It had the quantity and the quality, along with the connection to the show that made it truly special. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.